freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing.
Oh, hey folks, Dude here yet again, the narration of Dude After Dark. Hopefully you guys are doing okay, and it is now one of those times where I'm actually back doing it yet again. Hopefully things are working out okay on your side of the equation, and everything is good on, well, all accounts therein. So basically what do we got going on here? I'm still doing a little bit of minor show prep right now. I'm just waiting for things to actually start working yet again. Okay, I do now actually have a better thumbnail, so hopefully that's where things are going in that regard, and hopefully things are working out thusly. So, hopefully now I am looking, yes, I am currently looking at the chat room. Martina Sasquatch is on board as usual, 5x5, good stuff like that there. And, of course, we have our usual spiel of the news. Oh, man. The news has been, well... Yeah, it's been, no, sound guys have been machine gun fire. Stop. No, it hasn't been like that at all. But, we've been observing some extreme screams from the left side of the aisle with major losses. And I have a bunch of news stories. It's actually gotten really, really interesting in like the last couple days. People are kind of going, you know what? I am tired of being pushed around. I'm tired of being made to feel that I'm less than somebody else because, well, my skin tone is different, or I'm not from a certain geographical area, or anything along those lines in way, shape, or form. People are tired of being pushed around. So I cannot do this one justice. This is kind of one of those little turn of the screw type of things. Oh, my stars and garters. This is absolutely, well, you could say it's, I don't know if I would say it's caca, sound guy, but,
told you.
We told you.
Yeah,
we told you.
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 We told you. See, you didn't listen, and we told you.
Yeah, that's right. Those guys on the left side of the aisle, we told you. If you keep doing these things, it is going to go up with a glorious boom, and you're going to find out that things really, truly don't work out so good.
But I pooped from there.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the...
Okay, sound guy is a little bit on the, okay, I guess you got a chime. That's, you know, you were actually on point. I mean, that's pretty consecutively. Oh, don't get cocky, dude. Don't. Yeah, exactly. You're getting you're pushing the envelope. Stop. Anyway, so way, shape, and form which we find ourselves, those people of other cultures, shall we say, inserting themselves upon the United States, tend sometimes to be finding themselves with way too much umbrage. Excuse me for just 1 second here. I had a tap dancing dog that was getting on my freaking nerves. Remy does that sometimes. He gets around and he's just like, you know, just kind of just like dancing around. It's like, dude, lay down. Stop just, you know, being just... Okay, he does not sound like... No, you don't get a ding for doing a dog chomp and you know, assertive, you know, canine type thing. No, stop. Yeah, you're being... Yeah, exactly. You are crossing the line straight into DHville. Yeah. You're definitely going there. Anyway, sound guy. Yeah, you're knocking on the door attaining douchebag status, okay? Stop. Anyway, this is kind of one of those things where people are getting tired of being pushed around. They're getting told, you can't do these things because you're not of this certain expressly sanctified group of people. Way, shape, or form which we find ourselves. I don't know who did this, but man, this is kind of one of those, F Chuck you type of deals. But anyway, so a Muslim couple went into a McDonald's and specifically ordered a McDonald's egg and cheese McMuffin. They did not want bacon. Well, guess what? The global fast food chain has launched a thorough investigation following the incident at a Trent Vale branch. I believe that might actually be in England, but oh my stars and garters, it was like, we think that you guys are being a little presumptuous right now, saying that the country's now yours because you guys just really, truly have just decided it is your place. No, it's not we. Well, I guess it could be. All right, so they got a bacon, egg, and cheese McMuffin. Sound guy, stop.
Let's get ready to...
Okay, I'm sure that they weren't going, let's get ready to wee. Anyway.
You're in the jailhouse now.
To death! By Snoop, death! By...
Yeah, he messed up. He grabbed the wrong snoo. Sound guy screwed up. He grabbed the wrong snoo. Oh, no, you can't add another snoo. You messed up, okay? Call it what it is. You messed up. You picked the wrong one. Looking at the room, we got somebody else in there. Let's see. Let me look at the bigger font. Skibidi. Hey, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming on by, checking out the podcast, good stuff like that there. Always appreciate new people. Those of you who decide not to get into the chat room, not an issue, okay? If you decide to participate, you want to throw your 2 cents in there, your hat in the ring, as it were, all rest of that good stuff like that there. Always cool. If you guys decide to, just simply hang out, that's fine as well. If you decide to participate in the chat room, let's just say there's some stuff that comes in the chat room, and let's just say there's some stuff that stays in the chat room. There's some things that are just like, oh, dude, no, I try to keep this like G-rated. Well, PG-13 at least, but there's some stuff I just can't take out. Martina Sasquatch, I'm shaving. I'll join in when possible. Okay, well, don't rush on my account and just, proceed to rip off too many layers of skin, okay? Audio only is perfectly fine. I'm not going to ask you for participation and, potentially, damaged, epidermis, as it were. So anyway, somebody decided to slide some bacon in there, kind of like a social statement, like, you know what? You guys are being a little bit snotty. Wow. This one I thought was absolutely hilarious. This one coming in from Sovereign Survival, one of those other kind of guys, like basically either an online entity or somebody that posts stuff up on Facebook. I think somebody actually just did a screen grab from maybe like an Instagram post or something. But the header was, how many guns should a normal person have? And it starts out, about 5. Well, that sounds like a gun enthusiast to me. Nah, gun enthusiast has 15. Well, that sounds like somebody obsessed with guns. Nah, the obsessed people have hundreds. Now, that sounds like a psycho. Nah, psychos seldom own guns, or they just get 1 or 2. That sounds like a normal person, though. No, a normal person has 5. We already covered that. When in doubt, buy another firearm. And it's been really impressive now to see, like, the amount of people that have actually become first-time gun owners. That number's shot through the roof. The firearms population in the United States has now crossed over 500 million, or 500 million. So 500 million is 500 million of firearms currently owned by private owners in these United States. Top notch, folks. Keep at it. Make sure you are armed, practiced up, got plenty of ammunition, good stuff to support your guns. Always be sure that you're the second line of that military in the United States, known as the peacekeepers, as the militia. Every single person in the United States who is a gun owner is of that militia. Protecting the homeland. Always good. Scrolly. This guy, man, he's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm talking about, thanks. Gavin Newsom attacks Rick Grenell for quote unquote audacity to criticize fire recovery and claims illegal migrants are needed to help the state in its recovery efforts. You ever notice Gavin Newsom? He's the cause and the cure because we need illegals to populate our state that's in decline? No, dude, your state's in decline because the people who are the taxpayers are leaving. Kind of like New York City. It's becoming so expensive that all the pennies that are given to the illegal immigrants that are needing to replace those guys who are going to be in the counting of the population for seats and what have yous. If you have less population, you lose representation in Congress because you do not have that amount of people that justifies that kind of representation. Seats shift, obviously you lose representation. So in their infinite wisdom, the leftards that are chasing out all the paying population are like, oh no, we need bodies. So they bring in just as many illegals as needed to replace the normal population that is bailed out of a suck-ass state that costs way too much to reside upon. Scrolly. Oh yeah, this one's cool. This one's called Freedom of Speech. Excuse me 1 second here. Fresh tiki juice. It's called Freedom of Speech. This guy gets a walk and an acquittal, and I hope he sues for the damages. So the Civic Court overturns pro-Trump Mike meme maker Douglas McKay's conviction, who brutally trolled Hillary Clinton during the 2016 election. Comedy and free speech scored a massive win today in federal court. This one coming in from gatewaypundit.com. So the Second Court of Appeals on Wednesday unanimously threw out the conviction of pro-Trump meme maker and crooked Hillary tormentor Douglas McKay for posting and positing the notion with memes during the 2016 election in an effort to help Trump win. Okay, that is not electioneering. That's not election steering. That's not even like jerking around and anything. That's you simply making absolutely, completely legal public statement under freedom of speech. And you even try that, you are going to find out that your little supposition of trying to stick this guy gets...
Snoo.
No, it doesn't get snoo sound guy. It gets... Yeah, so, quote, we reverse McKay's conviction and remand the case to the district court with instructions to, quote, enter a judgment of acquittal, the decision from the court read. Translation, you lower court pukes. Clean this out. Stop wasting our time with this crap. This guy was utilizing his constitutional and God-given right of freedom of speech. You may not trot upon that stuff. You may not stop him from doing that. And you may not hinder his public statements therein in his public forum. You don't get to do that. So McCabe had previously been sentenced to federal prison for, quote, conspiracy to interfere with potential voters' right to vote in the 2016 election for the office of President of the United States by posting memes. Nice blanking try. I hope under this judgment, he then goes after and slams Hillary, the Clinton, whatever it is, fundraising, whatever device they call it nowadays, sues them, wins big time, and opens the door for a bunch of other people to go, you play these games, and we're going to hurt you financially, and we're going to make, in the court of public opinion, you look like a bunch of jackasses.
No!
Well, Hillary, anyway...
You're despicable.
Yeah, she's just, yeah. Just... Yeah, critical stop. Critical stop. She's just one of those people. Critical stop. So McKay responded to the victory by thanking God, his family's attorney, and all those who stood by his side from the beginning. He also vowed to sue those who had wronged him. Dude, Thor's hammer. You absolutely should take these guys and just go, okay, I'm now going to give you the Kermit treatment. I'm just going to stick one finger up the whole arm worth. Not even like a bit of warning, just until you got your hand up their head and you're going, I feel so sorry about these things that we did. I'm so terribly sorry. It was wrong. Yeah, she needs to get Kermit treatment in no small quantity. As TGP readers know, Gateway Pundit, Douglas McKay was indicted on January 2021 by the feds for using social media platform to, quote, spread election disinformation about Hillary Clinton voters in 2016. I believe that's called an opinion in public forum and freedom of speech, because even a lie in public forum is still protected speech. Nice try. Ricky Vaughn, a.k.a. Douglas McKay, in Twitter used to post memes and troll Hillary Clinton during the 2016 presidential election cycle. He must have been really seriously effective for them to go, this guy's making us look bad. He must have been seriously effective. And that makes me, well, it kind of tickles me to hear that this guy's now basically going to go, you know what? I can now got some teeth and I'm going to bite a big old chunk out your fat ass. So he was arrested in Palm Beach in 2021 on one charge of conspiracy against rights. According to an unsealed indictment, McKay was conspired with others on Twitter to encourage black people to cast their votes via text message. Okay, that's kind of like that running joke, like, you vote on the one day, Democrats vote the day after for a presidential election. It's like a running joke, folks. You have to vote on, so-and-so November 8th, versus November 9th. It's a running joke, folks. It's been going on forever. Republicans vote the one day, Democrats vote the next day. It's been a running joke forever. Anybody that knows the way things work knows that there's only one federal election, okay? It's not rocket science. And if you're too stupid to know the difference between the one day to the other day, you're going to get a cut what you get, and, it's going to be, yeah, you're just going to get it, and it's not going to be fun to watch. Okay. Coyote Fall with Dead Pac-Man. Thanks, sound guy. All right. Anyway, so this guy is now obviously freed. He now obviously has. Stop! Yeah, you're pushing it. Stop. All right. So this guy now obviously has a set of canine teeth. Sound guy, stop. Okay. I hate to say, if that dog was going to try to chomp onto, Hillary's back end.
Fuck you up.
Stop that! I hit the stop button on that one, okay? Stop that! Wow. No, it's not Terminator F you a-hole. I was hitting the vomit button. He was hitting the other button. Sound guy, stop. Man, I try to keep this clean, okay? Kind of clean, at least. Well, anyway. So, so this guy was now screwed, but now he's now freed, and he can take a big old hunk of bite, chomping, shark teeth type of action in Hillary Clinton's back door, and hopefully he doesn't swallow. Or, yeah, poor guy. Don't do that, okay?
Oh my.
Sound guy, where the hell are you going, dude? Jeez. Anyway. Okay, he's just rambling now, folks. Okay? He's just rambling. Dude, what are you even going on about? That's just... He's just hitting buttons, folks. I got no idea what he's doing. So anyway, he was facing a 10-year prison sentence and ended up getting 7 months in October 2023. The federal judge involved stayed his sentence 2 months later. He should have had 0, and I do mean absolutely 0 time in jail. Freedom of speech. Oh, he's interfering with the presidential election by saying that black people should be voting on a different day, making Hillary look bad. Okay, anybody that's stupid enough, race aside, if they try to vote on the wrong day for a federal election, that's on them. Is sound guy a freak who plays with horse toys? I don't know. Anything is possible. I mean, yeah. Let's dance. Oh.
Oh my.
Okay, I just I got no idea where he's going with this one, folks. Anyway, sound guy, stop. He's completely off the rails today. Anyway, so basically he served 2 months in jail, which, considering the fact that you have, the undeniable freedom of speech under the Constitution of the United States, he never should have seen a day in jail at all. Let's see. Scrolly. Oh, this is hilarious stuff, folks. It's called the existential threat to a sitting president of these United States, and you can bet that they were snooping on his dumb ass for public statements. So the whole 8647, and I'm not saying that, I'm simply repeating the phrase I've seen and heard about in the news. I do not wish 86 on 47, okay? Let's just get that straight. For anybody with their little AI type of Snoopy type of stuff, I am not wishing 86 on 47, okay? Let's just make sure that that's completely clear. No harm intended by saying the phrase 8647, okay? Just so everybody's on board. You get that, Mr. AI type Snoopy type of thing? I'm not saying it to say any harm intended towards the sitting president of current registry and residence upon the White House of these United States, okay? Let's just make sure Mr. AI knows that one for sure, all right? So, from the page on Facebook called Donald Trump for President, breaking, Democrats are furious after it's revealed authorities were tracking James Comey through his cell phone. Okay, if you metal midgets don't know by now that they track everything that you do in terms of your motivation when you have location turned on, or even when you have location turned off, your phone will track you for what you are doing. Now, the big thing is if you're just using it for navigation, that's all the tracking that it's doing. It's going, okay, he's going from point A to point B, this, that, and the other thing. Potentially, if it's Google, one of those guys, they might go, let's make sure that he gets, notable sales stuff from every store that he passes. Annoying, but that's what they do. Now, the reason why they track you is because they refuse to refer to these as cell phones. Okay, there's a reason why they call them cell phones. Literally, you'd be tracking along, and you would jump the call from one cell to the next cell, and it would handshake that the digital signal going, okay, here's phone call from so-and-so to so-and-so, you got it now. And it would literally jump from cell to cell to cell to cell. As a matter of fact, you normally hear people referring to as basically the signal towers that are involved with smartphones or any other communication device as cell phone towers. That's why, okay? So you're being tracked. In any way, shape, or form, you're being tracked. If you don't want to be tracked, put this down and use a landline. That's the only way you don't get tracked with digital devices, okay? Now, whether it's listening in on what you're doing or not, that's something else entirely. Obviously, if you're talking with the thing with all of its facilities turned on, it's listening, okay? There's no other way around it. It is listening. Now, what you can do is you can actually go in there and turn off the apps that you don't like. It's being Snoopy, all the rest of that fun, happy horse mess, kind of a tangential thing here. But if you don't want it to be snooping on you, you probably should be using the most stupid flip phone you could possibly use. That simply is just a phone and text. That's it. And there's a lot of people going retro on that with regard, but I need a phone that's kind of more like a baby laptop. So I'm stuck. All right, that's why I'm using these things. So anyway, so tracking through his cell phone, followed him and his wife in unmarked cars also, and in plain clothes, and stationed agents at his home just 1 day after he posted his 8647 seashell thing. He is nothing short of just unbelievably stupid. If you say and do these things, obviously the Secret Service is going to go, you know what? This guy has public notoriety, but he might just be messing around and might intend bad things to, I'm stopping this. Sound guy. I think they know who the president is, okay? Sound guy, stop. Okay, I don't think we needed the guillotine. Okay, anyway, so Comey is now actively being investigated by the Secret Service. Why? Because the Secret Service is actually doing their blanking job? Ugh, bad juju. Bad juju. Something that's near and dear to my heart, and I obviously truly want to see this thing die a violent, nasty, horrible, wicked, potentially just disgustingly horrific death. I'm talking about the NFA, or the National Firearms Act of 1934. Now, if you set the Wayback Machine, obviously just coming out of Depression, Prohibition, all that stuff, you basically had, the rum runners and all those guys that were basically like, the drug cartels of their day. They were engaging everybody with all kinds of, interesting firearms, because you can simply go to the hardware store, literally, and buy machine guns. It was no limitation on them whatsoever, other than did you have the cash? If you want to see what that basically looked like, you watch the Kevin Costner movie called The Highwaymen. You'll get an idea of what it was like. You basically walk in the store and go, yeah, I'll take the Colt monitor, I'll take the Browning automatic rifle, I'll take the Thompson machine gun, I'll take these 15 firearms right here, take some other blah blah blahs, and all the ammo that you got for these things, just load it in my car. If you had the cash back then, you could do that. So anyway, the GCA of 1934 placed the restrictions, and I'm probably rehashing a little bit for those people who actually know firearms, but for those of you who do not, literally what the 1934 Gun Control Act did was it restricted machine guns. It restricted suppressed firearms, or translation stuff that has a quiet device screwed on the end, or a component therein of integral construction. It also limited firearms to a certain size. Shotguns have to have at least an 18.5-inch barrel. I'm going to try to get a frame here. At least an 18.5-inch barrel. Rifles have to have a minimum of a 16-inch barrel. Pistols can be any barrel length whatsoever, but you cannot put a pistol grip on the front along with the pistol grip that's normally being utilized. And also, you may not put a stock on a weapon that has a barrel that is too short, of any configuration. So literally those things came into play, and that's literally what has happened with 1934 GCA, but they needed to put some teeth to it, because you do have the Second Amendment. So what they did was they came up with a piece of legislation in support of a stamp. And literally it is a stamp. It's about yay big around, and it is a $200 stamp. Looks like a giant postage stamp. And it basically has like the firearms serial number on it. It says $200 in the corners, and it's usually in like a cardboard with clear plastic on either side so it doesn't get destroyed, and that's usually how you obtain and have your tax stamp. Now, anybody that's really in the know, they do a photocopy of that tax stamp, and they have a copy of it with them at all times. They take the tax stamp and they put it in the safe, because as long as you have a copy of that documentation showing that you are the legal possessor of a what's known as a Class 3 firearm. So basically, short barrel, shotgun rifle, any other weapon, which is basically, pistol with a grip on board, or obviously a stock pistol or a suppressed firearm. As long as you have that stamp in your possession or a copy of it, you're good. Now, most of the people that I know in, those groups who basically have those weapons, they'll normally do a copy of those, and they'll take it and they'll have it on a piece of paper, and they'll just like fold it up and like, stuff it in the pistol grip, or they'll just have it in like the butt stock or something, and they'll just have it with the gun. Now, there's also known as something as a two-stamp gun. That is a machine gun that could be a short barrel. Doesn't matter at that point because it's still a machine gun. So it's machine gun with a suppressor. That's known as a two-stamp gun because you have one stamp for the gun, one stamp for the suppressor. Doesn't matter if it's short barrel at that point because it's still a machine gun. They don't care. One crosses over to the next. So anyway, those guys normally have those components on board, and they are actually able to do such with those pieces of documentation. So anyway, the NFA, the whole gun control dies on, and the anti-gun guys know it. Wales from the gun prohibition lobby has passed an American bill, also known as Donald Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. It eliminates the $200 tax stamp on suppressor short barrel weapons, and it attacks originally adopted to discourage people from owning such things and variable forecast mayhem, but the background is genuine for fear this will ultimately lead to the repeal of the NFA, at least in respect to the items now removed from the tax. Now, the reason being is if you look at the legislation and the way it's structured, the legislation states clearly, we need to have this tax stamp to support the taxation so we can have the registration of these firearms. Remember, Second Amendment, folks. Right to keep and bear arms by the public, blah, 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 public militia shall not be infringed. It's pretty easy to read that and figure it for what's worth. Militias, everybody in the United States, do not infringe basically means do not infringe. Right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's it in its nutshell. So, the removal of the $200 tax stamp means that the legislation, which was in support of the $200 tax stamp, means it is now legally moot. And it can now be challenged as stating it is a, supposition on the government's part to say, well, these guns are now not able to be owned because you also have to have this tax stamp of the $200. It's like, you don't have to do the $200 anymore. Okay, well, you can't own these guns because you have to do the paperwork and you gotta have the tax stamp. And wait a minute, you don't need to buy the tax stamp anymore for $200. It's now free. Well, you need to have the tax stamp and supporting it. Okay, it falls on its face because one cannot exist without the other because literally the $200 tax stamp was supposition supported by the legislation, and the legislation was supposition then supported by the $200 tax stamp. Once one goes away, in other words, it's a free tax stamp, it is now seen as an inalienable right, which is being restricted. So the NFA law became law in 1934, first national gun control law, and just like all the other gun control laws adopted since, it didn't prevent criminals from committing violent crimes. Now, the bad guys just basically said, hey, we need machine guns, sneak them in from Canada and Mexico. It didn't stop them in the slightest. Bad guys are going to be bad guys, it's simply the motivations which they utilize. They don't care. Scrolly. So the ultimate goal of the gun prohibitionists was the elimination of private firearms ownership and emasculation of the Second Amendment. Now with one lawsuit filed and many more on the way to eliminate the NFA's registration requirement and untaxed firearms and suppressors, the gun control crowd, without publicly not admitting it, knows deep in its heart that this 91-year-old gun law is the hill upon which the movement dies. It is not just the elimination of the $200 tax stamp on those items they're trying to desperately to demonize. Criminals, crazy people, and terrorists have been murdering people for generations with plain old handguns, rifles, and shotguns. After all, the NFA represents the notion that the restrictive gun control is acceptable. It isn't. Infringement of the right to keep and bear arms prohibited by the Second Amendment became federal law in 1934. Well, it should have been challenged, it should have been overthrown, and it should not go any further. But, here's where history comes into play. The thing about it is if you know something about history, coming just out of the Depression, FDR gets elected, 4 terms, World War II happens, he's in office, he's locked in, dies in office, but, and you can ask anybody that knows history, FDR was nothing short of a raging socialist, and he told those guys in all the courts, look, here's the deal. I'm going to eliminate you, and I'm going to pack the courts with my guys. So here's the deal. You go along with me, and, New Deal, all kinds of onerous, stupid legislation, the gold buyback, all kinds of bad stuff coming down by the wayside in that time period, and the insertion of socialist and not even but slightly communist dogma into the federal government. was coming into play. As a matter of fact, there's been a lot of people that said FDR actually extended and made the Depression worse. So if you know your history, you know why the 34 GCA happened, and it was not challenged in any way, shape, or form in any federal courts, because literally all the judges at that time were like, we think it's great. We think it's great, and we don't want to challenge it because, they're worried about their jobs. Call it what it is, okay? You look to the higher form of existence. You don't simply go, oh, I'm worried about my job. Yeah. This one, oh man, this guy, I really, truly don't even truly like even talking about him. But let's just say Carmelo Anthony now has a trial date set, and he was 17 when he was charged initially. Now he's 18. So the court said that that they're going to set the trial date for June 1, 2026, according to TMZ. However, sources also told TMZ the date can be moved depending on circumstances. So this piece of human debris hopefully goes to court. In the course, he goes to court, and hopefully he's found guilty of murder and and maybe he goes to jail and
Oh, you touch my...
I think they're gonna touch his tra-la-la. Yeah, his tra-la-la is gonna get... Okay, I don't think it sounds like that when you touch somebody's tra-la-la, sound guy.
He's dead, Jim.
Oh man, you're really wishing for some mayhem there. So see, scroll. This one, I gotta be really careful how I phrase this, okay? But this, let's see here. This, this OEO. Usually when I say that, it's okay. So this OEO, that's code for CUN Toledo. Okay, so let's just insert that one for what it's worth, and we'll simply say from here on in, anytime I have to say the phrase CUN Toledo, I'm simply just going to say that she's a right. So she's an OEO. All right. So anyway, this vile gives an apology after being fired for being a... Yeah. So anyway, she's being a OEO. So a pediatrician who blamed MAGA Texans for the deadly floods was completely ripped to shreds for a weak apology. So I'm not going to read what she said, or what she said in answer to being like completely wrecked for doing this. But let's just say that she basically gave absolutely no respect to the victims of the Texas floods and made it sound like it was something that only occurred because, well, Donald Trump truly doesn't understand about like climate change, and said every one of those children who were victims deserved their fate. Just a disreputable, nasty, heartless. Yeah, that's about the only way you could say it, okay? Just one of those just absolutely vile, nasty CUN Toledo's. So Christina B. Probst, so Propst, who worked for a place called Blue Fish Pediatrics, kind of cute there, issued a public statement over the comments she made about the tragedy. And I'm not going to read what she said, but she got hit canned with great alacrity. And let's just say pretty much what's going to have happen is if Texas actually truly has a set of teeth on its medical board, she's not just fired, She's going to lose her license to practice in Texas. She's going to be blackballed. They're going to put a permanent mark on her record, and they're going to say, this person is toxic. Do not deal with this disgusting, nasty, vile, or you're going to get what you're going to get because, well, she is just, yeah, she's that. But let's just say I'm really, really working hard to keep from saying what I really, really want to say about her. But man, I'll tell you what, that is about the most classic dictionary depiction thereof of an OEO you will ever want to see. It's somebody who does something disgusting, vile, and hateful like that in the industry of which they actually currently are employed. Wow. Beyond measure. Absolutely hateful, nasty, disgusting, vile OEO. This guy, if there's anybody that truly espouses the virtues of libertarianism, it is Javier Milei. Oh, my word. This guy is absolutely doing amazing things in Argentina. And he has turned that country literally 180 to the point where it is now starting to be doing some amazing stuff for the population. So, one of my favorite quotes from him recently, and I posted it up on my Facebook, is, quote, "The enemy is socialism. The enemy is statism. The enemy is collectivism." Dude, you basically said the enemy is outright total communism. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Not like some raging, wow, you gotta be like some right-winging, this, that, and the other thing, and, no, dude, you simply just don't do stuff the way that they do it. I've been having way too much fun using an AOC meme template. I've been having way too much. I can't. Let's just put it as this. I can't read them on this forum. Let's just say on Facebook. I don't care. But my friends have been laughing their asses off, going, "Oh, dude, that is just messed up." I've been having too much fun. Similarly with other social statements they're in, but man, I've been having too much fun with her stuff. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's just too much good stuff there. This one is beyond interesting. As a matter of fact, I actually have to open this up in another window because I forgot to grab the text. But coming in from Breitbart, Biden tells the New York Times he did not individually approve names of many who were pardoned by the auto pen. Whoops. Martinez, yeah, I can do that if you want to do that, I guess, on MeWe or some such. Yeah, I can do that. Anyway, but yeah, I've been having fun with them. Anyway, so let's see. Let me do something real fast. Just give me 1 second here. Keep myself honest. Okay, that way I won't forget things there, Martinez Sasquatch. I actually made myself a note. So it says he doesn't remember when Thor's hammer. He doesn't remember. I don't remember doing that with the auto pen. No, dude, because 40% of the time you weren't even in the White House. You were on vacation. Yep, I don't remember doing that. Nope, you don't remember doing that. Oh man, he doesn't remember doing that. That just strikes me as so funny.
It's spicy.
Oh no, it's not spicy. It's truthful.
I've fallen and I can't get up. Stop!
Okay, enough caca. Stop. So Biden doesn't know how many times he didn't individually approve names of many pardoned with the auto pen. Because it's like 3,000 people. Wow. So former President Joe Biden admitted to the New York Times did not individually sign off on each of the pardons issued via the auto pen signature to batch the criminal's end of his term, although reportedly delineated criteria to staff. Wait. If there was ever a time I really wanted to say, F Chuck, that's your F chucking job there, caca. It is your job to approve and delineate responsibility going, yep, I approve of this guy, and I approve of that guy, and here's this guy over here as well. It's this stinking, nasty pile of, yeah, sound guy, thank you. So anyway, Joe Caca. Stinking, nasty pile of Joe Caca. So in the final months of his term, Biden issued 4 large sets of pardons, 3 of which were categorically clemency actions covering large swaths of people, the Times noted on Sunday. Yeah. So per the outlet, Biden approved standards to give categorical pardons to criminals in this final... No, he did not. He had people going, hey, Mr. President, you really should this, that, and the other thing. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's a really great idea. I'm going to do that. Yeah, let's do yeah. Uh-oh, I think, yeah, I got a little poop problem. Yeah, oh, geez. Yeah, I got to change my pants. It seems I had too much ice cream. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, enough farts. Stop. So Joe Caca basically was approving these things. Okay, hang on a second. Let's get this right. He was, air quotes, approving these things. Biden did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons that applied to large numbers of people he and the aides confirmed. Gee, do you think? Rather, at an extensive discussion of different possible criteria, he signed off on the standards he wanted to be used to determine which convicts would qualify for reduction in sentence. No, he did not. He did not at all. No blanking way. Oh, I really want to say something else. No blanking way did he say that. Even after Mr. Biden made the decision, one former aide said the Bureau of Prisons kept providing additional information about specific inmates, resulting in small changes to the list. Oh, this guy only killed 4 people, Mr. President. Well, in that case, okay, just, yeah. Oh, well, don't give him a fully reduced sentence, but, I gotta change my pants again. Rather than ask Mr. Biden to keep signing revised versions, his staff waited and then ran the final version through the auto pen, which they saw as a routine procedure. Okay, let's just break this down real simple, stupid, and easy for the really, really ignorant jackasses that don't understand how stuff works. You can't advocate your authority as the president to somebody else to go, yep, good. This guy's good. That guy's good. Damn. You cannot advocate your authority to do these things. You have to go, yep, click, yep, click, yep, click, yep, click. Because even with an auto pen, that is you putting your statement upon that legal document to say this person gets special treatment. Ugh. Wow. Patriot Fever, I appreciate you, man. You cannot advocate that authority to somebody else and go, well, just sign off on all these people and say that they're good to go. You cannot do those things at all. And considering that he's been using the auto pen for something other than like minor policy items, every single one of those guys should have, well, they really should have some issues, and they really need to have a really, really bad time and have a swoop on by the freeze, sucker! Yeah, and they need to get taken in. Why? Because they did not get kicked loose legal-like. Sledgehammer. Okay. I get what Sound Guy was trying to say here. How do I clean this one up? He was trying to say that they're going to be hammered hit. Okay. that was actually pretty good, Sound Guy. I got to give you credit on that one. That was actually not bad. That was okay. I don't know if it was ding worthy, but it actually was not bad. I'll give you credit on that one, okay? No. It was good, but it wasn't that good. No, stop. It wasn't that good. No. Okay, you get a chime, not a ding. That was fine. Oh, would you stop? Chinese gong. Ugh. Citing emails reviewed among the Biden team, sorry. The Times noted that the then White House staff secretary, Stephanie Feldman, was in charge of the auto pen. Interesting. Emails would indicate Biden would say what criteria for batches of pardons and meetings of top advisors, including Chief of Staff Jeffrey Zients and White House counsel Ed Siskel. Have you even heard these names? No. And then relay Biden's wishes to their assistants per the report. Okay, I would tend to think it was probably Mrs. Biden, not Mr. Biden, who was saying, yeah, go ahead and kick him loose. Ugh. Jill Biden has got way too much crap that she did while he was supposedly in the office. Now, why do I even say this? Because there's another story coming in from Breitbart, and, quote, the guy's brain is mush. Joe Biden's quotes in NYT, or the New York Times interview, were deemed, quote unquote, unintelligible. Whoops. Former President Joe Biden, Democrat, ability to process and respond to information is once again being called into question after an interview with the New York Times. Biden spoke at the newspaper over the phone on Thursday and was questioned about clemency actions he took at his time in the White House drew to a close. Quote, Mr. Biden did not personally sign the official warrants regarding these decisions. Rather, his White House staff used an auto pen device to do so, the article said. The newspaper then shared excerpts from the interview. Regarding allegations from President Trump and others like it, Biden was incapacitated. His aides abused the auto pen, the former president claimed. Quote, they're liars. They know it. They know for certain. I mean, look, what they had a pretty good thing going here. They done so badly. They lied so consistently about almost everything they're doing. The best thing they can do is try to change the focus and focus on something else. And this is I think that's what this is about. It's consistent with Trump's game plan all along. I mean, if I don't expect you to answer any questions, but if I told you 3 years ago we have a president doing this, I think you'd look at me in the eye and say, what, are you crazy? A little bit out there. About preemptive pardons he bestowed on his family members, he said, quote, in terms of my family, he go after me through the family. I know how vindictive he is. I would love to hear the whole unedited interview with Joe Kaka. Whoo! Oh my stars and garters. Just give me a second here. This one is this is going to be what happens to New York City if they elect Mondami. This one was posted up from Kashama Sawant. Quote, our tax Amazon movement has made history. Seattle City Council just voted to pass an Amazon tax on the largest corporations to fund affordable housing and jobs to begin with and racist gentrification. This is entirely because thousands of working people, unions, socialists. That was posted up on 7/6/2020. Remember hearing about that one some years ago? Yeah. So, the next news story posted up from KIRO Channel 7, Seattle. Quote, "This is catastrophic. Seattle payroll tax revenues $47 million short as jobs leave city." Yeah, Mondami, if you do this stupidity, people are going to leave. Wow. I'm going to say that this person chose to be like this, blame nobody else, and, well, you decided to be a hateful, F-chucking a-hole all on your own. So, woman who misses who she was before Trump, she's got the Trump derangement syndrome. She's a victim not just of who she is. Quote, "I miss who I was before Donald Trump came into power. It's hard enough being a human, an adult, a woman, a mother, but waking up every day with this sense of dread and rage, I just miss the person I used to be. I miss the country I thought we were." You're kind of doing it to yourself. Wow. Just wow. So this one is an answer to Mondami. So, breaking. Protesters have gathered at the New York City Hall chanting, quote, "We will not comply with Sharia law," end quote, rallying against Zohran Mondami under the No to Communism banner. Now, I love when these people go, wow, the Nazis were fascist. They were right wing. If you guys know your history, World War II, Hitler obviously was making, grand inroads to other areas, North Africa, the campaigns, the Afrika Korps, and all the rest of that fun stuff. But if you know your history, he actually touched base with the Grand Mufti back then, who was like, the high guy back in like, the Arab nations. It's a long history, okay? So the other thing too is also it's been well stated that Nazis actually were not fascists. They were socialists. If you look at the Nazi acronym, it is NADAP, which is National Workers German. Let's see, not NSDAP. Sorry, National Socialist German Workers Party. So it's like National Arbeit Deutsche National Socialist Deutsche Arbeit Party. Yeah, it's one of those German things. Well, anyway, so the contraction of that was Nazi, but they were the National Socialist German Workers Party. Okay, call it what it is. Nazis were socialists. So when socialists call you Nazis, they're projecting. All those things that they tend to wish upon you, they kind of do it to themselves because they're kind of positing it upon you. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but this is kind of one of those, how do you do these things? But I'm sure his sergeant was like, "Why you, I can't believe you, this, a person, let's just say person. I'm not going to get personable about it. I'm just going to simply say a person is now asking for the public's help in locating a Colt M4 rifle, read like a fully automatic firearm with 5 loaded 30-round magazines that somehow fell out the back of a cruiser in South Los Angeles. I cannot do this justice, folks, but the story is just blanking hilarious. L.A., California, in a bizarre and troubling turn of events, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, or the LASD, has admitted that one of its deputies, I'm sure he's now really, really on desk duty, big time if he's not hit canned, misplaced a department-issued Colt M4 patrol rifle and 150 rounds of ammunition during a call, misplaced, during a call Saturday night in South LA. I'm sure that gun has got some caretaker now who is taking very, very, very good care of it. According to official statement, deputies from the South Los Angeles station noticed the rifle was missing from the trunk of a squad car sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. Oh, missing from the trunk. The M4 carbine, a standard patrol rifle chambered in .556 millimeter, was stored inside a hard shell black case along with 5 loaded magazines. Officials believe the case, quote, may have fallen out during transit. Just give me 1 second here. I got this. How in the... hang on a second. I got this one, Sal guy. How in the... do you drop a cased firearm out of a closed trunk in a vehicle? How in the... Chuck, do you drop this thing... Oh, thanks, sound guy. How in the chuck do you drop this thing out the back of a car? Ugh. So they believe the case may have fallen out during transit as deputies responded to a service call. The department has since retraced the 4-mile route traveled that evening. North on Normandy, west on Imperial, north on Hawthorne, and west on 104th in Inglewood Avenue in an attempt to locate the missing rifle. That thing is blanking gone. I guarantee you that thing is blanking gone. Surveillance cameras along the route is being reviewed, and neighboring agencies have been identified. Or notified, shall we say. While no photo of the rifle has been released, the LASD is urging residents to keep an eye out and report any information that could lead to its recovery. Tips may be submitted anonymously to the LA Regional Crime Stoppers hotline. The incident has triggered an internal review to determine whether department policies and procedures were followed or ignored. The Sheriff's Department is committed to transparency and accountability to investigate this incident. You guys. you flipping guys. Okay, hang on a second here. If you guys don't know what we're talking about here, let's just get really simple, stupid, and easy here, okay? I'm going to show you a picture of an M4, and we shall both peruse upon such item. It's really not rocket science to say what an M4 rifle is, okay? But that's an M4 rifle, okay? It's basically a 16-inch barrel M16, and I'm sure, because it's the cop's gun, I am absolutely dead sure it is fully automatic capable. Read, it's got the fun switch. So in other words, with an AR-15, if you have the selector turned 90 degrees to the front, that's safety. So literally the weapon system is designed as such. You can have a standard right-handed pistol grip. I know there's ambidextrous versions, but a right-handed pistol grip, you take your thumb, you flick down the safety, it stands straight up. That is semi-automatic. If you take that switch and you go 180 from being unsafe, that's fully automatic. So critics of the department are quick to point out the irony in a state that heavily restricts civilian ownership of AR-style rifles and detachable magazines. The law enforcement apparent mishandling of such equipment raises serious questions about accountability and competence. For now, the LASD is asking the public to help locate a weapon they're forbidden from owning themselves. I guarantee you that thing is being caretaken by somebody. Wow. This one, I think, is really disgusting, and it's absolutely transparent how this thing happened. So, the fix is in. The fires that took place in California, they let it burn, and now they're trying to cash in on the suffering of the citizens. So, the California Senate has passed a bill to let LA buy fire-destroyed lots for low-income housing. Okay, if you know these areas where these houses were, it's not cheap areas, okay? We're talking like seriously expensive pieces of property that usually what happened was the kids got it from the parents. They were trust fund kids. Translation, they now have a piece of property that's worth like gadzooks amount of cash. And they can't afford to replace the houses because now the houses were originally built using cesspools. Well, they now need to have public sewer service. And if you ask anybody installing sewer service over cesspools, It's insanely expensive. California, even worse. So, what I'm positing here is the notion that finally, the feds see it for what it is, and Trump goes, you know what? No. We're going to do is all this property you guys are trying to seize from all these people, we're going to federalize this, we're going to nationalize it, and it's now going to be claimed as federal property. You don't get it. And that's everything that has really, truly should happen is, well, California should get their pee-pee slapped where they do not get to cash in on this type of stuff. And playing that kind of stuff, these
Cork juggling thunder crunch.
cork juggling thunder crunch. But these
Cock juggling thunder.
oh, that okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. A rooster juggling thunder meow. Yeah, a
Cock juggling thunder.
yeah, okay. Thanks, sound guy. Okay, that was actually on time. I will give you that one. Anyway, so way, shape, or form, we find ourselves. I think we've now come to me running out all the news stories. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Martina Sasquatch, if you're still in the room, I will kick that stuff out to you. Good stuff like that there. And where are we now? Oh, music. Okay. All right, thank you guys for hanging out with me on a Tuesday. You know, I've been things to do, but you guys hang out with me, and I truly appreciate your kind attentions. Good stuff like that there. I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and you get a gold star for attendance. So I'll catch you guys next week. Good stuff like that there. I will see you then. So eat good, keep tendering as always. You know what, you love it. I will catch you guys next week. Good stuff like that there, and I will catch you later. Where's the button at this time? Just doing it on a phone is always weird. See you guys. British.